What's up, everybody? You already know who it is. It's DripGodDero, and I'm back at you guys with another banger. So in today's video, we will be doing our 9th weekly NBA recap. For this week, there has been a lot of things going on. As you guys know, we did have the NBA draft. We did have some movement in free agency. And it was just a lot of crazy trades going on as well. So we will go through everything that has happened this week. For the first topic, we will be talking about the Warriors and all the movement they have had when it came to Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. I know a lot of you guys were probably looking out for that Jordan Poole video because I do have a lot of thoughts on that trade. So in this video, you will get that. Also, we will talk about the NBA draft. That was a hot topic this week, and a certain prospect ended up going very late in the draft, aka Cam Whitmore. So we will talk about that as well. And last but not least, we will just finish this up with a free agency move that has recently happened. But hey, I will have all of these different topics pinned in the actual video, so if you do want to just skip up, you are free to do so. But without further ado, let's get into our first topic. Alright, so for our first topic, it is this trade. The Wizards send Chris Paul to the Warriors for Jordan Poole. So this is official news, as you guys can see on ESPN, and this is a couple days old. I know, but we got to talk about this, and I do just want to give my thoughts on this trade as well. So let's just read into it. So it starts off with Wizards to send Chris Paul to Warriors for Jordan Poole. Now, when I initially seen this, I was disappointed. I was definitely disappointed because I felt like it was just an all-around bad trade. And let's just read into it so I could give my viewpoint on why I think this is a bad trade. Alright, so it starts off with several days after agreeing to send Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for a package including Chris Paul, the Washington Wizards agreed to send the future Hall of Fame point guard to the Golden State Warriors Thursday for Jordan Poole, sources told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Let's scroll down and continue reading. The Wizards are also receiving a protected 2030 first-round pick and a 2027 second-round pick from Golden State in the deal, sources said. Now, that was pretty much the trade right there. It looks like that's pretty much all they have on the trade. And let's just break this down. So, the Golden State Warriors, they get Chris Paul, and that's it. Chris Paul, as we know, Chris Paul is, I think, 38, going on 39 years old. So he's literally at the tail end of his career. More than likely, he only has a year or two left in the league. Let's just keep it a band. And that's who the Golden State Warriors got. And they gave up Jordan Poole, a player who is young. Yes, he's young, as we know. He only 24. He had a pretty awful postseason, to be honest. He really did have a pretty awful postseason. He was struggling a lot when it came to his shooting and efficiency, but there was still a lot of potential in this player. Just because someone has a bad postseason doesn't mean that they can't continue to improve. Like I said, he's only 24 years old, so there's plenty of time to improve, and he has shown signs of that potential, especially the year before last. So they got rid of him, and we do got to keep in mind that the Golden State Warriors, they are a team that is pretty old. All their stars are older. You got Steph Curry, he's older. Klay Thompson, he's older, and he's coming off injuries. Draymond Green, older as well. So, their key pieces are all older. So I really didn't like that they got rid of the young player that showed the most potential on their team in Jordan Poole. Because we got to think about it. Yes, the Golden State Warriors, they are an older team, but they do have a couple of young players that they did choose high in the draft, such as, Moody, Kuminga, and players like that. But it was the player Jordan Poole. It was him who actually showed the most potential out of their younger players. And they traded him for Chris Paul. The thing that made this trade even worse to me is that they did this right here. They also gave up a protected 2030 first round pick and a 2027 second round pick. Like, dude, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? And I know what they were doing. The reason they did this was because of cap space. As you guys know, this upcoming season, Jordan Poole, he will be getting paid a lot of money. I believe it's like the $27 million range. And with them having to pay Jordan Poole, they had to make something shake. They had to do something so that they could get rid of his contract, so that they could also re-sign their main priority, aka Draymond Green. And that does bring us to the next topic today, and that is Draymond Green. But before I do switch over to that topic, just to give this trade a grade, I give it a D-. Like, you literally gave away a young player who does still have potential in Jordan Poole for Chris Paul, a player that you're only going to most likely get a year or two out of, and you can't even say that because injuries. So I do feel like this is a horrible trade. They also gave up a first round pick and a 2027 second round pick. So horrible trade for the Golden State Warriors, great trade for the Washington Wizards. So shout out to the Washington Wizards. But like I was saying, let's move on to our next main topic, and we will be staying with the Warriors, and that is on Draymond Green. Now, as you guys can see, this is from Fansided, and this is a rumor, and that rumor is that the Warriors get great news on the Draymond Green contract. So let's read into this, man. Let's read into this. Let me zoom in for you guys. All right, and this was 4 hours ago, actually, so that's great. Now, it starts off with, the Golden State Warriors should reportedly retain star forward Draymond Green once free agency begins, as he wants to retire with Steph Curry, per the latest NBA rumors. Now, let's read into this. The Warriors should look much different next season with Chris Paul coming off the bench, but the starting unit could come with a similar vibe. Let's scroll down and continue reading. Draymond Green, who will be a free agent this summer, is expected to remain with the team on a 3-year contract. Mark Stein of the New York Times reports that both sides are optimistic of an agreement. Now, if you guys didn't know, the reason that Draymond Green is a free agent is because he did opt out of his deal. He's trying to get that bag like he should. And you do got to understand from Draymond Green's point of view, Draymond, he is getting older. And as you get older, the main thing you want to prioritize is that bag at that point. He's still a pretty solid player. He has, declined a little bit over the years, but for the most part, he has still retained the most valuable parts of his game, aka his passing and his defense for the most part. So, hey, besides that, I do like that Draymond Green did, actually opt out of his deal to try to get that bag. He is getting older. And let's continue reading. Green's name has been floated with teams like the Detroit Pistons, he's from Michigan, and even the Dallas Mavericks via a sign and trade. Of course, the Los Angeles Lakers can never be discounted, as Green and LeBron James recently went on vacation together. However, Draymond leaving the Warriors always felt a bit far-fetched. He spent his entire career in Golden State for a reason, and now, with Jordan Poole out of the picture, there isn't much holding back a reunion. So, with that being said, it does look like To me, I really wouldn't be surprised if Draymond does re-sign with them. Like this article was saying, I do see him actually retiring as a Golden State Warrior. I see him, Clay, and Draymond. I see him, Steph, and Clay all retiring as Golden State Warriors. They did have a dynasty, and it's only right that they do hook him up. So let's read into it. They also say this. Per Mark Stein's Substack, Green is expected to return to Golden State on a 3-year deal that could pay him upwards to $100 million, if not more. So, I like that. I like that a lot. Like I was saying, man, Draymond, he's only getting older. And, you want to really try to, collect that bag once you get older. Especially when you do have a great career like Draymond's, where he has, accomplished a lot of things. Has been a champion. I believe he did also get a Defensive Player of the Year trophy. So, you definitely want to give that man that bag and, reward players who have been solid for your team and have produced for your team and has also been loyal to your team. So, I like that. Hopefully, the Golden State Warriors do re-sign Draymond, man. I don't feel like it'll be the same without him, So, hey, that's topic number 2 right there. Let's move on to topic number 3. Now, for this topic, we will move on to some other free agency news that has been happening. And that news is that the Timberwolves have re-signed Naz Reid to a 3-year extension with a player option. So, let's read into it, man. Let's read into it. Alright, so we'll just start off with the title right now. Timberwolves, Naz Reid agree to 3-year extension with player option. Now let's just scroll down and read into it. The Minnesota Timberwolves replenished their vibe count Sunday by agreeing with fan favorite Naz Reid to a 3-year, $42 million extension before his impending unrestricted free agency this summer. And let's just scroll down, and as you guys can see, that is the tweet from Adrian Wojnarowski stating that Naz Reid has agreed to a 3-year, $42 million deal with a player option. So, hey, I like this move for the Minnesota Timberwolves. As we know, Naz Reid, he's always been a great, serviceable big man. He definitely has been a serviceable big man. And if he would have actually, went to unrestricted free agency, more than likely the Timberwolves would have had to pay more, because this man, he definitely was deserving of the bag, man. He's a pretty well-rounded player, could shoot, he could do it all. So I like this move for Timberwolves, locking him in. He is a fan favorite as well, and he can do it all. But let's move on to topic number 4. And topic number 4 is on Cam Whitmore. Now, as we know, the NBA draft was pretty crazy, man. It was pretty crazy, and I'm just zooming in so y'all can see this a little better. And it was a lot of questions on why Cam Whitmore went at number 20. I believe he got picked at number 20 by the Houston Rockets. And we do have some news on exactly what was the case. So let's read into this, man. And this is from Real GM. Shout out to them. And let's read this. Cam Whitmore fell due to concerns over knee and underwhelming workouts. So let's read it. Cam Whitmore fell to the Houston Rockets on draft night all the way to number 20, despite the fact that some thought he could play for the franchise at number 4. Sources tell John Hollinger of The Athletic that Whitmore's medicals were red flagged by some teams due to concerns about his knees, while his workouts and interviews were also underwhelming. One source described Whitmore as comatose during pre-draft evaluations. Michael Porter Jr. was a player that recently had a draft night fall due to both medical and interview issues, but he ended up playing himself to a max contract coming off his rookie deal. Now, this was crazy that he ended up going so low. I was hoping that the Lakers would just take a bet on him, but they didn't. But yeah, man, to be honest, who knows how good he can be? Who knows how good he could be? From what I was hearing, most people said he looked like one of the most NBA ready players. You know, he has some size to him. I believe he's like 6'7", 6'8". You know, has some muscle. You know, he's developed. And yeah, man, I think it's a good move for the Houston Rockets. You know, you can always bet on some young talent if you're the Houston Rockets. You know, they're a team that's already, you know, trying to develop and are very young. So why not take a risk on Cam Whitmore? Because you never know. Similar to what this article said, you know, you might get a Michael Porter Jr. out of him, a player who had red flags when it came to the medicals and all that, but still provides high level, you know, shooting and scoring ability. You might get the same out of him, just with different aspects such as rebound and defense. So you never know, man. You never know. Cam Whitmore, I wish for him the best. And last but not least, to wrap up this recap, I do want to talk about this article that I seen right here. And it's from SB Nation. Shout out to them. And it is titled The 9 Best Fits of the NBA 2023 Draft Rank. Now, this will be pretty much subjective based on, you know, the writer's opinion, aka Ricky O'Donnell. And I do just want to see if I agree with it or not, and why they believe that these players do fit with the teams that they were drafted to. So let's get it, man. Let's get it. All right, so I'm going to just start off reading this. And it starts off with, it's foolish to judge a selection in the NBA draft exclusively on present day fit. Rosters around the league change far too quickly for that, especially when 19 of the 30 first round picks in the 2023 draft were teenagers. It's going to take years before we can properly evaluate how teams did in this draft as the players and the class slowly grow into their bodies and into their games. So with that being said, man, I'm not gonna read all this. We just about to take a look at the numbers and the reasoning for why they feel like it's a good pick. All right, so I'm probably going to butcher my boy last name, but at number 9 they got Brandon Podziemski to the Warriors at number 19. So from what I've seen during the draft, it looks like he's a good shooter, I believe. Let's read into it, though. Podziemski was somewhat of a polarizing prospect as a down transfer from Illinois to Santa Clara, who put up huge numbers despite his athletic deficiencies. I think he found a great spot for his skill set in Steve Kerr's system of passing, spacing, and off-ball movement. The 6'5" guard shot the hell out of the ball, 44.7% from 3 and 51.3% from 2, thanks to a deadly floater. So, hey, I think that's all we really need to hear, man. He could shoot the ball crazily. And, hey, man, I think that's great. Hey, I think he should fit in great with, you know, the Warriors system, man, because that's what they want. They want a shooter, and we do have to take note that they did just lose Jordan Poole, and he may be the Jordan Poole replacement. You never know. I know they do got Chris Paul, and, you know, with them having Chris Paul, he could definitely get some game out of Chris Paul to become a better point guard or shooting guard, whichever position he ends up playing. So, hey, man, he in a good position. He got 2 Hall of Famer point guards ahead of him, and Steph Curry and also Chris Paul, and that's a lot of game that he can really learn from both of them. And then he is a great shooter coming out of college. So, hey, I like it. I like it a lot. Let's keep moving. At number 8, we got Derek Lively II and Oliver Maxence Prosper to the Mavs. Now, let's read into this. Now, I believe Derek Lively is a center who is super athletic, if I do remember correctly, but let's read into it. The Mavericks had to replace the size and defense they lost in the Kyrie Irving trade, and they accomplished that with their 2 first-round picks. Lively is a long center who posted the 3rd best block rate in college basketball as a freshman in Duke. I'm skeptical of his offensive utility in the league, which is why I ranked him outside of the top 30 on my board and gave the Mavs a C grade for this pick. Still, he fills a clear need as a rim protector behind Luka Doncic, which was the team's biggest weakness. All right, so for that piece right there, I like the move as well. You know, one thing that was really hindering the Mavericks was their interior defense. You know, they had players like, damn, I can't remember his name, man. The light-skinned dude with waves, man. He a power forward. I can't remember his name, but anyways, they had him out there. As we know, they had JaVale McGee as well, and those players just wouldn't cut it, man. They just couldn't cut it, you know. They just couldn't cut it. So why not take a risk on a long, athletic center, man? Why not? So I like that move. Let's read the other dude. Omac skyrocketed up draft boards as the big winner of the scoring combine. He's a high-energy player on both sides who can hit the glass, defend bigger fours, and offer some spot-up shooting potential. He's a good bet to be the Dallas Mavericks replacement for Dorian Finney-Smith. And I agree. You know, he does have some length, a pretty big dude. And, hey, I like it, man. I like it. Oliver, Maxis, Prosper, and Derek Lively Jr., man, they definitely drafted for a position when it came to this team. They chose positions that they really needed the help in. So good job on the Mavs, man, and hopefully they do good, because y'all know I'm a Dallas guy, man. I'm a Dallas guy. But anyways, let's keep moving. Grady Dick to the Raptors at number 13. That suit, man. My boy had on the football pads under the suit, man. Hey, I like it, man. He trying. But hey, let's get it, man. Toronto's plan to field an entire team of 6'8" players proved to have an obvious hole. None of them could shoot. The Raptors only hit 33.5% of their threes last season, which ranked number 28 in the league. Enter Dick, a 6'8" wing with a case as the best shooter in the draft. He should be a wonderful fit offensively, spacing the floor for Pascal Siakam and Scotty Barnes with deep range and a quick release on his jumper. He's skilled running off screens and has an upside as a connective passer too. Now, I like this move, but I don't like it as much as the previous 2 moves. Now, the reason I don't like it as much is because I don't know, man. Like, at a point, I feel like they gotta change up this 6'8" guard or taller game plan that they got, man. Like, I just don't know, man. Like, I think Grady Dick is going to be a good player, but at the same time, I feel like he's going to be super one-dimensional, you know, only able to shoot. I could see him playing out similar to a player like, what's his name? Similar to Duncan Robinson. I could see him being a player similar to Duncan Robinson. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But hey, it's still a solid trade. I mean, it's still a solid pick at number 13, man. At number 6, they got Julian Strawther to the Nuggets at number 29. For this one, I think it's solid, you know. For them to get a 6'7" shooter at the number 29 pick, I feel like, hey, why not? And then it's like, you know, this team, they're already stacked anyway, so why not take a risk on a 6'7" shooter who could play an off-ball role for Nikola Jokic? Cool. Also, he did shoot 40.8%. So why not, man? He can definitely possibly get in the rotation as a backup shooting guard or backup small forward or power forward. So, hey, that's cool. Next up, Taylor Hendricks, Bryce Sensabaugh, and Keontae George to the Jazz. So we got 3 players in this, man. 3 players. All right, let's read into it. The Jazz landed 3 players in the top 20 on my board entering the draft with a clear focus on adding shooting around Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler. Taylor Hendricks, their first pick at number 9 overall, is the rare 3-and-D prospect whose defensive value comes from his rim protection. Now, I like Hendricks a lot, and they pretty much said the reason, 3-and-D. And that's something that the Utah Jazz does need. They don't really have a established 3-and-D player, to be honest. So I like that a lot. Bro did shoot 39% from 3. So, hey, he definitely a 3-and-D player. So, nice. Next up, let's talk about George. George is a 6'4" freshman guard from Baylor who can play on or off the ball. What he lacks in elite athleticism, he can make up for with versatile shooting from a 3-point range and tough shot-making ability inside the arc. Now, I like this move as well because, one area that this team lacks in is their guards. They got a lot of alright guards, but they don't got great guards. And you never know, George, he could end up being that great guard that they need, because to be honest, if they do want to actually push and make it to playoffs or anything like that, I feel like guards like Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson, they alright, but you need something a little better if you really want to make a lot of noise in the future. So I like that as well. Let's move on. Cason Wallace to the Thunder at number 10. Alright, so for this one, it states, the biggest knock on Wallace is that he's the size of a point guard without offering plus on-ball creation or a traditional floor general skill set. That won't be a problem for the Oklahoma City Thunder with everything running through Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. With the Thunder, Wallace found a perfect spot to focus on what he does best, defend like a maniac, force turnovers with incredibly quick and strong hands, and a fit and offensively as a connected passer and spot-up shooter. No, I don't really like this move. I'm going to just keep it a band. I don't really like this move. Now, the reason I don't really like this move is because he pretty much fills the same role as other players on the Thunder. You got to understand that, they do got Lou Dort, and Lou Dort is more than likely just going to be a better version of this guy, to be honest. He's bigger than Wallace, has more size than Wallace, and, is more than likely going to end his career more, just diverse defensively compared to Wallace. So I don't really care for this move too much. I'd rather see them get another big man because, Chet, we just don't know about him just yet. He still hasn't played a game of basketball in the NBA yet. So I don't really like that move. Jarris Walker to the Indiana Pacers at number 8. This is such an excellent fit for both the player and the team on multiple levels. The Pacers badly needed defensive help after finishing number 26 overall on the end of the floor last year. They had an obvious hole in the lineup at the floor. Walker checks both boxes. He is one of the best defensive prospects in the class, a 6'8", 240-pound wrecking ball with a 7'2" wingspan, who vacillates between rim protector and wing stopper while attacking the glass on both ends, another area where Indiana really struggled last season. Now, Me personally, I think this may be one of the sleeper picks in this draft, just because of how diverse, Walker could really be, to be honest. Similar to what they were saying, he does have a lot of potential. 6'8", 240 pounds, 7'2" wingspan, and it's like, having a player like that who can defend multiple roles is very valuable. And I feel like this is a good move. I do feel like this is a good move. All right. Number 2, Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore to the Rockets. We already talked about Cam Whitmore. A lot of potential in him. The only thing they had was red flags when it came to his medical. And, he may end up being a little inefficient as well. But, hey, I like that, man. I like the move I'm just going to keep it real. I like the move for the Houston Rockets. You get Amen Thompson, who is looked at as a great 3-and-D style of player with a lot of potential. 6'7", 7-foot wingspan, and pretty athletic as well. So a lot of upside there. To be honest. Let's keep it moving. All right, number 1. This is obvious. Victor Wembanyama to the Spurs. They won the draft, and hey, man, I don't think we really need to talk about Victor Wembanyama to the Spurs. Shout out to the Spurs. Y'all know I'm a Texas baby, so hey, it is what it is. But shout out to the Spurs. But hey, that does conclude this episode of the NBA Weekly Recap. If you enjoyed the video, like the motherfucking video, comment on the motherfucking video, subscribe to the motherfucking channel, turn on notifications and all that good stuff, and I'm out. Peace.